Alright guys, when you first open up SketchUp, you click on the Start Using SketchUp button. If it asks you what template to choose, choose feet and inches. Then you just click Start Using SketchUp. As soon as SketchUp opens, you see that I have my full tool set over here. Okay, to get that, you have to make sure you click on View, Toolbars, and make sure you have the large tool set selected. Then you just click Close. When you first open Google SketchUp, you will see a young lady here. She is to show you scale, okay, to show that your buildings are to the right scale. After you build one building that's to the right scale, you can delete her. You'll also notice that there are three lines here, or axes as we call them. We have one that runs west to east, it is red. We have one that runs front to back, it is green. And we have one that runs north to south, and it is blue. These are very important as we try to move things in the future. To start with, I'm just going to make a rectangle. I'm going to choose the rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm going to make a rectangle that's exactly 15 by 15. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see that this is approximately 15 by 15 now. But to get it exactly 15 by 15, you simply let go. And then you type in 1, 5, apostrophe, comma, space, 1, 5, apostrophe. And you can watch the rectangle, it will change shape. And now it's a perfect 15 by 15 square. Now I'm going to go up and use the push-pull tool. As I use the push-pull tool, it will elevate whatever our building is or whatever we're creating. As I hover over it, I just lift up. I'm going to make it approximately 10 feet to start with. And then to make it exactly 10 feet, as soon as I let go, I just type in 1, 0, apostrophe, enter. And now I have a building that's 15 by 15 by 10. Now that I know that it's a scaled building, I'm going to go ahead and delete her. So I'm going to click on her and say bye-bye. Click on the delete key. And I'm going to start, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make a roof now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the pencil tool. And if you just kind of hover around the top of this building, you'll notice that it's almost like the magnetic lasso tool. And when I get right to the middle, it will literally snap in place and say midpoint. Now I'm just going to draw a line straight up. You'll notice that it says on the blue axis. If I move it a little to the right, it's not on the blue axis. But if I move it straight up and down, I know I'm on the blue axis. That's what you want. Now I'm going to just connect the dots. Connect the dots again. And now I have the beginnings of an A-frame roof. I'm going to spin around by pushing in the orbit tool. This is the orbit tool. A shortcut for the orbit tool is pushing in the scroll button. If you push in the scroll, it kind of lets you turn into the orbit tool. Notice that the orbit tool is selected. Also remember that scrolling out is zoom out and scrolling in is zoom in. Now I'm just going to click on the arrow tool and get rid of this little initial line I drew, and then I'm going to use the push-pull tool again to pull this out. Okay, at this point I will just kind of move around to the front, put that line back in because you can see it kind of got removed here, so I'm just going to use my pencil tool to do so. And then I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that center little spot. Now all I'm going to do is add a doorway. A doorway is approximately 6'6" in most buildings, so I'm just going to find the midpoint here, move over just a little bit, and make myself a door. And I'm just going to watch in the bottom right-hand corner. A door is going to be about 6'6". That's about 6'6" right there. Make it a little wider. There we go. Then I'm going to make a window up at the top, a little strip of windows. I like to inset my windows and doors just a little bit so it's obvious they're doors and windows. I'm going to scooch these in just a little. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is just add some texture. I'm going to click on the paint bucket. The paint bucket does so much more in this program than what a normal paint bucket does. I'm going to click on roofing. And here on the roof I'm going to choose shingles. Just scroll up to the top and let's put some shingles in. Click. Click. And then for the outside I'm going to click on stone. And I'm going to add this flagstone look to it. And again, I'm just pushing in the scroll button to scroll all the way around. And then finally, to complete my building, I'm going to add a translucent windows to it. So I'm going to come down to translucent. I'm going to choose this kind of blue translucent color. And I'm just going to fill in these colors. You'll notice if I scroll in, you can actually see the inside of the building. We're actually going to do the inside of the building a little later on in this project, but not now. You can also even add objects to the inside or outside of a building. Trees, cars, stuff like that. Again, we're not going to do that now. Those are located up here. Please do not add anything downloaded because it can slow down the program. We don't want to do that yet. And then once you have this done, we're going to put a title on this. This particular title is going to be Bush 3.0. Okay, what do you think Bush is going to look like in the long from now future? So I'm going to click on Bush 3.0. Of course, when you type text, you can change the font if you want. I'm going to click place. It's good to be facing your building and zooming in when you add text. Once I add that, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger by clicking on this tool right here. It's called the Scale tool. I'm going to stretch this out a little. Notice that it's off the frame now, so I'm going to use the Move tool, and this will kind of move it into place. And then use the arrow tool to unselect that. Now I'm just going to scroll out, and there's my building. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move it over, okay? And to do that, you kind of have to zoom out, and with your arrow tool, draw a huge box around the whole thing. And then what you could do is you can kind of face it, and we're going to move it along this red axis. So I'm going to click on the Move tool, and this whole building is just going to move over. And you'll notice as I'm moving it, there's a little dotted line behind it that's red. If I move it up this way, it turns black. That's telling me it's not on the axis. So make sure it's moving on the red axis, or your building will go underground. Now I'm going to scroll over this way, and we're going to move it back a little. And I'm going to scroll it back on the green axis. Notice a little yellowish green line there. All right, I like to keep my building and all my campus in this right quadrant. Okay, so try to do that. And the only last thing I'm going to add, once you get finished with this, is add yourself some roads. The way you do roads is you click on the rectangle tool. I'm going to put a road right in front of my school here, or this is my front office actually. Start with making yourself just a regular office building. Roads are about 20 feet wide by however long you want them to be. And then I'm going to make a side road next to that. So this is going to come right off the side. Again, about 20 feet wide by however long you want it. And then if you want them to have a really cool arc here, I'm going to use this arc tool, kind of an arced, like a road would have, kind of a rounded. Choose the arc tool, and that fills that in. And then for roads, you choose asphalt and concrete as the surface. I'm just going to get rid of these lines real quick. I'm going to click on the paint bucket, go up to asphalt and concrete. I'm going to choose this little cobblestone look, and I have myself a road. So start with your office building, okay, just so you can make a building to scale, 15 by 15 by 10 feet tall. Once you do that, make a road, and then start building other buildings. We'll add something new each day, okay? Good luck. If you have any questions, please let me know. This is the end of the tutorial.